अकेले है तो क्या गम है. मार दो भाई.
मार दो भाई.
चाहे तो
मार दो मतलब ये सॉन्ग बंद हो जाएगा.
बस मैं क्या नहीं, बस एक जरा साथ हो तेरा. Arey Amruta is expert. We remember mental trainer Gukesh was working with Paddy Upton for World Championship. So we never know what Prag is working on, who is he working with, and all of that flow, for moments like these where you are leading in a match, where you get bit nervous, how do you change your thought process? This is all super important.
Yeah.
You can show Amruta. So Amruta was showing you can push the pawns forward.
I mean, you would like to, but I don't know. Yesterday there was a position where...
the Magnus has come. The clock has started.
Already started?
Yes, Magnus just arrived like
Full
1
screen.
minute.
एक बार दिखाई दो. I want to see the mood right now. Full screen कर दो.
And Magnus now calming himself down. He is also one of those guys who is able to readjust to the situation. Even if he hasn't had a good result, that's okay. And there we have C3,
C6 and H4. By the way, I just before this round started, Magnus was sitting by himself. He was not looking at the board. He was
behind the stage.
Behind the stage, he was just trying to think about, what went wrong in the previous game. I'm pretty sure because he was definitely not happy. But he's back now.
Was he alone or was there his team?
Alone, completely alone.
Because he has said this before that he does feel like a bit of. He said in one of his interview that when Ella and Peter Heine Nielsen were not with him, he did feel a little bit, what was the word he used? Mentally unstable or something like this.
It's always good to have some supports, Sagar Bhai, whether it be from your coach, whether it be from your family. It's super special, and that's one of the reasons that having a chess coach is so important, because not only do they help you with your chess aspect, but you feel like there is someone you can always talk to, and that feeling definitely comes across when you play chess, because you play much more relaxed.
I also, when you have losses, if there's someone on this journey with you, the losses become less painful. But if you don't have anyone, you're all the time trying to say like, yeah, I played well, but no one knows about it. But when there is a coach, you feel a bit relaxed. The coach tells you, no worries, you're doing well. So guys,
nervous system collapsed, he said, like nervous breakdown.
Nervous breakdown, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, center mein break by Praggu, E5. Very important move.
I love how Magnus, by the way, is using his rook pawn, H4, H5, and H6 played, and then after D4.
I like the H6 idea, Sagar, because we have seen 101 times that white generally gets the pawn on H6 and creates some back rank issues. Both long term hai, both future ka hai, but Prag doesn't even go there.
Yeah, Prag doesn't let Magnus come all the way, blocks the pawn here and strikes in the center. And now here is Magnus, okay? He wants to sort of prove that he's good. He's good at this format. He can beat Prag. And Prag, on the other hand, is like, I want to give my best and make sure that I win this match. Whose will is going to triumph here? It's so exciting, right?
Yeah, generally Magnus must win on demand always. Like he has 100% score. With Levon, it was a kind of a
100% is a bit too much. I would say 95%. Yeah, he does it.
Yeah, I mean he does it most of the time. Yeah, Harshit.
Yeah, I mean, and also in this case, Amruta, I feel like, Magnus wanted to do something super creative to get an interesting position from the opening, but Prag is rock solid with his understanding. He's like, classical chess ho ya normal, or 960 ho, it's clear that if you're pushing your pawn on the edge of the board, I have to break in the center. He brings his queen out. I know we've been talking about bringing your queen out. Normal chess, we are always, against it, but I think in Chess960 we have seen more and more games to see that it is actually quite a decent idea.
And do you think, Harshit, by now the black queen will checkmate the white queen?
Oh.
Because after queen e4, the queen trade cannot be avoided.
And actually it's definitely in black's favor. I don't know flavor kyun bol raha hu,
Flavor is nice.
And because he just needs a draw.
Just needs a draw, and a queen exchange is all amazing.
But Magnus loves end game.
Why? Magnus is the end game wizard.
But so is Prag, and he also has a slightly better
Prag is
position.
Prag.
Yeah, Prag is rock solid.
No,
I mean,
said so is Prag.
अरे अरे
अरे अमृता, हर्षित भाई अभी कॉफी पी रहे हैं थोड़ा, but हर्षित भाई, also what I loved is that these knights are looking in the center, the bishops are open, so actually Prag is taking care of all the pieces. Oh, he doesn't trade. Prag is like, let me keep the queens.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see whether Prag can score a hat trick, because I think if he can, I don't think anybody has done that, you know.
Yeah.
I
Especially in
don't think.
freestyle chess.
Forget freestyle, but in general also, I don't
I
think
in the
it's a-
same tournament, I don't think it has ever happened before.
Yeah.
By the way, Magnus also breaks in the center, brings his queen out, knight f6. We have a very symmetrical position right now. I think Prag is going to be super happy with the starting few moves of the game.
You think so? He likes his position?
I do think so. I mean, look at him. He seems to be much more relaxed right now because, I mean, it's if anyone is better, it's black. Bishop g4 right now gives him a big advantage. Queen f4,
But
slight
you know,
inaccuracy.
it's like there's knight e3 coming, knight f5, the king on g8. Like even if you castle, feels I don't know. Like Magnus is preparing for the hunt.
But
Yeah.
Amrita, this bishop stops the knight from coming to f5. So
No,
in a way,
I think right now White wants to go bishop to f4, and if you go bishop to g4, you not only attack this knight, you stop the queen from protecting the f4 square. Another move that comes to my mind is knight e6, just to stop White from going bishop f4, hitting our queen on c7.
that's so beautifully said by Harshit Bhai. This move bishop g4 is also more harmonious because when the knight comes up, the bishop isn't blocked inside.
Yeah.
So can Prag find this move? And we can already see Prag here, his head, shaking a bit. I think it happens not as something consciously, but Prag is always vibing, to the position.
I think that this is definitely something that he has gotten into his game, because when you're shaking your head, you might be feeling a bit more confident, like, yeah, let's go, let's try to find the best move here. So it might be like a conscious thing that, like, let's just always be in a good psychological mindset. Let's always have a good body posture here. And it does definitely put some pressure on your opponent, right? Where your opponent is sitting there, he feels very good about his position. Magnus is like, kya ho raha hai mere saath?
Exactly. I think in general, this entire thing at top level chess, they do many things which stay away from our eyesight. They might be working with a psychologist, they might be working with a mental health. By the way, Team Liquid Super OP says Geeta. Yes, actually, Team Liquid is looking insanely strong with Magnus here, Pug here,
And
Fabi.
Hikaru, and Fabi, yes.
Yeah.
By the way, also Hikaru Nakamura and Firouz Alireza are in the same team, Team Falcon Amruta. So it's going to be a crazy fight between those two teams. I'm very curious. Do you think that after Prag having such a good result and having the best year of his life, maybe Team Liquid thinks that, I want to give him board number 1?
No, come on. There's no,
No, I don't-
by the way,
I
it's no team championship, Harshit Bhai. They all have to play individually.
Oh.
And then whatever points are made, it gets like their individual points generally from chess get added to the team score of Team Liquid in across all for like other League of Legends and all of that. By the way,
He's
Prag
gone
has
knight
gone
G4.
knight g4.
Okay, naturally he rejected bishop g4, bishop f5 idea. Somewhere the knight e3, I think you fear some attack. You are thinking in a way that Magnus wants to keep creating complications
You
around
mean
your king.
here, and then when you give up this,
Yeah.
maybe he didn't like such
Yes.
a thing. But knight g4, engines don't like it, but he does stop this idea. And look
It is
at
practical.
Magnus's idea now, knight d4. Magnus has moved his knight here.
Stops bishop
I
f5.
think f3 becomes a clear idea right here, to kick the knight away and then prepare bishop f4.
Yeah, I think knight d4 is just trying to go f3 there.
But can you not go bishop e7 and kick the queen?
That's a good move, Amruta.
Beautiful move, Amruta.
हाँ, तो ऐसा
Beautiful.
बोला कि मेरे को लगा बहुत ही
मैंने
कुछ
बोला
blunder
वाह वाह
कर
वाह
दिया।
वाह वाह वाह,
अच्छा
क्या बात है, too good.
Because where's the queen going to go? g3 में exchange, queen h3 में disco. Last Vegas
He does
was
it.
Max. अरे
Bishop e7,
let's
Amruta,
go.
your move.
Oh, but look at
Oh, bishop
Magnus's
f4
move.
immediately.
Chop, chop, so quickly chopping
And
every...
short castle.
अरे you can do short castle ना, illegal है ही नहीं.
Bhai, crazy.
Good
Praggnanandhaa
move.
being so alert here.
गुड मूव. नहीं
Incredible.
नहीं नहीं, कोई मीठा बस इधर ही हो जाएगा, बोर्ड पे जो भी होना है.
Wow. But what a shift, yeah, here.
And you know both I think Queen F4, Queen E7. I think Magnus saw until this move, but short castle. Prag
Yeah.
not only finding the best moves intuitively, but also calculating one move ahead than his opponent. And this is different because usually Prag was considered to be one of the best calculators, but this time his intuition is also really helping him do well in this format.
Very well said. And Magnus might have considered something like this for a moment, but you feel good. Your queen is over here. Somewhere at some point, Rook H4 might jump in. Somehow, I think for white, it can look enticing.
Oh, he does play G3. By the way, Harshit Bhai, why is a question to you and Amruta? Why is Raymond sponsoring Praggnanandhaa?
Raymond is sponsoring Praggnanandhaa?
Raymond Suits?
I'm just asking. It's a question. It's not reality.
I think he might be creating a joke here. Because of something I related with almond.
No.
Tagline is the complete man.
Yes, because he's becoming a complete man.
Oh, bhai, good one.
New
Guys,
sponsor.
Raymond, if you are watching this, maybe Prag is the guy to be sponsoring because he's becoming the complete player. Intuition is there, calculation is there.
But he has gotten a complete sponsor as well, Sagar bhai, Adani.
Oh yes, he doesn't need one. Yes.
Prag is playing electrifying chess. Yahan pe.
That's the word, Amruta. Electrifying chess it is.
But
now the queens have been traded.
And Magnus is very, very comfortable in such situations, guys. He's an endgame wizard. He loves to grind such equal positions. He can see patterns way ahead of his opponent.
Oh, yeah.
Will Prag manage to hold this together?
Guys, you need to send in your positive
Yeah.
energy to Prag right now because he's going to have small pressure against him all the time. Usually in middle games, the pawn on h5 can be a liability. In end games though, it does give white extra space. The rook can jump in from h4. Castle करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है white को.
Correct. And by the way, Prag said to Magnus, can we trade, more pieces? Magnus is like, no. I'm coming in with my knight. I'm looking at these squares in the center and my rook can join in. Perhaps my bishop will come out. It's interesting, this
It's
position.
interesting, and Kaustubh Kale had super chatted, how do you castle in this position where does the rook go? Something related. I think he wanted to ask that if queen is on e7, but that is allowed in freestyle.
By the way, Hikaru completely winning, people are saying.
Hi, 1 second.
Will-
Is Magnus playing like Bobby Fischer?
Yeah.
Remember how Fischer goes after his opponent's bishop? We did the Fischer test with Magnus.
Yes.
Maybe that's inspiring him. I have a light squared bishop now and I'm going to play with it just like how Fischer did with Taimano.
Magnus doesn't need any inspiration, Sagar. Magnus's endgame, I'm going to say here, he's going to put real test on Praggnanandhaa. It's
Yeah.
not going to be easy. I can already sense it.
By the way, why would white not want to go rook h4 in this position? Quick question for everyone watching.
Wow.
Why does
See if we have people awake right now because it's already well past midnight in India, 12:39 a.m. And maybe there are people from all across the world watching, guys. What's the move here?
Yeah, let's try to have the first 10 people. Shubh Jain is the first one who found it. Abhinav, MB, Prajwal, Sekar, Manan Tukia, and Nitish Kamath are the first few people who found it. Great job, guys. Also, a lot more people finding it.
By the way, we had a super chat here by someone who said, Hi Sagar, Amruta, Harshit Bhai, Harsh, Keshav, Mohit. अच्छा उनका नाम है वैसे हाँ मुझे लगा
तुझे क्या लगा?
कुछ अपने को नया नाम दिया तीनों को. Vijay B Good says, what's up chess casters? Magnus growing old looks like. Well, Magnus is older than what he was. He's 34 years old. But 34 is not too old.
Yeah.
I
Because
mean,
you are 34.
yeah, I'm 35.
35, just almost about to. By the way,
Can we quickly
Yeah,
have a
Hikaru.
glimpse of
definitely,
Hikaru?
Hikaru is winning that
Whoa.
news.
He has a +3 position already.
I mean, this is completely over. Rook f-b1 is a big threat. The black king is on g8, which is
Oh,
completely...
it's trapping the queen
Yeah.
almost.
Rook f-b1.
But we can actually castle here, so the king can be safe, right?
But then the point is rook f-b1, queen c2, and again a question for the chat, guys, trying to keep you alert and sharp at this point in the night if you're watching from India. White to play and win the game.
Abhinav G has found it very quickly. So as Lakshita Chess. Arey Lakshita, well done. Knight E1.
Yes, Sahil
Trapping
Shah.
the queen.
Exactly.
Nice.
91 and it's GG. And that's why I think Hikaru Nakamura is going to win this matchup for sure.
So Hikaru will win most likely and meet perhaps.
Ooh, look at this.
Oops, ये क्या
अरे
किया
टेबल
सागर?
क्यों बैंक कर दिया सागर भाई?
भाई मैंने तो सिर्फ F दबाया फ्लिप करने को.
मैंने भी किया था ऐसा भाई पर अरे
अरे भाई ये क्या है?
Like solid game चल रहा है सागर. This is भारी.
अरे I didn't realize
Bhari
this
is the
new
word.
feature in Chess.com. Guys, amazing. You press F and suddenly a hand comes. I don't know if in the stream it came. Oh,
Yes,
it's
अरे
bye हो गया भाई. Rook C8, F4 and now check to the king, king G2.
and knight d2 and Prag is like you took my bishop on c8 अकेले तुमको नहीं मारने दूंगा I will also take your bishop.
अकेले है तो क्या गम है, मार दो भाई.
मार दो भाई
चाहे
मार दो मतलब ये song बंद हो जाएगा.
बस मैं क्या नहीं, बस एक जरा साथ हो तेरा.
क्या बात है?
अरे
सागर
अमृता,
के
you
लिए
had the thing, तेरे तो है हम, but you didn't know the song. क्या कर सकते हैं?
And I think just for everyone watching, like, you know, why are we like sometimes rooting for specific players? First of all, it's fun to root for a team or a player or something like this. And secondly, it's fun to root for the underdog. By Magnus Carlsen, of course, everyone knows is the greatest chess player, is obviously a big favorite in this matchup. But it's a big surprise that someone like Praggnanandhaa, who's of course one of the rising talents, is putting pressure on him. And rooting for underdogs, you know, makes you feel connected. I feel that you get a feeling of relatability.
In fact, I would love to do a poll, Sagar later. Like, does the audience prefer if there is rooting, or do they prefer if there is no rooting?
Okay, after this game.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
done.
right
done.
now, by the way, Knight C4 is played by
move there
Prag,
by
by Magnus, and he's
What
asking
happens for
Prag,
Knight C4?
do you want to take my knight or do you want to take my bishop?
And you know, there are some small things that white has better than his opponent. For example, the king on h8 would definitely love to be on g8. The white pawn on h5 also, you know, gives white a lot of space, and maybe g4, g5 could be an idea. These small factors, you know, of course the material is equal, but if you think deeply about the position, which Magnus always does, I'm sure he's very confident that he can put some pressure on Prag in this endgame.
Yeah. No, that h5 pawn, I think, which came there in the second move, वहां से it is going to create some issues.
And also,
Can Prag, what do you think?
Yeah.
Can Prag stay solid?
I mean, I don't
I mean,
know.
he's in
I
Team
think-
Liquid, but then right now he needs to stay solid.
True. By the way, this knight gets the d6 square while the black knight gets d3. So it's very symmetrical in a way. But just this fact that white has more space on the king side gives him a small edge.
Exactly.
And also a better king.
For sure a better king, because the king on h8 would love to be on a place like c7, for example, where, you know, it's much more active in the game. But right now, I think as things are, definitely slight better for Magnus. A time deficit for Praggnanandhaa, more than a minute time deficit. He needs to pick up his speed as well. And, you know, it's a match format. Defeating Magnus Carlsen in a match format is probably it's going to be a highlight for Praggnanandhaa this year. Yes, he won a lot of tournaments. Yes, you know, he's leading in the GP circuit, but he never was able to defeat Magnus in a match format before. This one is going to be special for him.
Absolutely.
Okay, also another option over here is that Prag may not take any of the piece. I don't know whether he's gonna think of that, but he is 1 minute lower than Magnus Carlsen.
Oh yes, time is actually going to play
Yeah,
a...
but Magnus is thinking right now. Did
Yeah.
Prag play?
I'm going to try to do this.
Yeah.
He took on F1.
And king g8. Exactly. He's like, my king is the only piece which was not in the ideal position. He brings his king to g8. Looks much better there. Much
King
more
is a piece
harmonious.
in the end game. Harmony.
You know, this is, I mean, the advantage for white is so small, such a small difference in their positions, that I find it very difficult for someone like Prag to lose this.
You know, the advantage of white in this position is like happiness. It goes away.
It goes away if
You
you
have
don't.
to sustain it.
Yeah.
You have to nurse it. You have to just play it very well. I don't know if Magnus is the right person for this role, right? He knows how to create a magic. We saw it in the absolute first game here with Vincent Keimer, an equal queen endgame. घुमा घुमा के कैसा जीता वो. I think it's very risky against Magnus to play such positions. Knight a5, rook f e8. It's looking not good. This pressure isn't b4 coming.
God.
What a move, knight a5 there, Amruta.
Yeah.
To just fix that knight on c5 so that if
And
the
you
pawn on
can't go
exactly.
here because of this, right? Okay.
By the way, king comes to f3, guys. I
Okay.
can tell you,
Yeah,
Prag
no.
is in big pressure right now, especially because we all know what Magnus is capable of. In your back of your head, Prag knows कि भाई Magnus इसमें बाप है. You know, he's really good at this.
Totally. I mean, don't believe the evaluation bar because this bar is fine, but when it is Magnus Carlsen and such an end game, then the bar is already +1 for white. That is what I would assess.
Bar is asking, is it Magnus with white? And if
Okay,
you
then
say
you're
yes,
better.
then you're like, okay, my work is not that much here.
Yeah.
You just focus on the game.
Correct. Absolutely true.
Yeah, and less than 4 minutes for Praggnanandhaa right now. I was thinking if I have enough time to go king f8, but I don't think I do because something like b4 hitting this knight on c5, which protects the pawn on b7, is going to be a nightmare for this knight on c5.
Yeah, I think with king f3, what he did is he stopped rook e2, and that's why he didn't go for b4. And now that threat is revived.
That's a good point.
That's a very good point there, Amruta.
Amruta calculating here. Wonderful.
Amruta showing why she's called the tactical queen, understanding the nuances, the tricks of the position. Right now, Prag needs to find some counterplay. कैसे तो pawn b7 को बचाना है, but it's not easy.
You know, one of the
Takes
things that
e7,
Prag
can I
can do, one of the things is f5.
I
And
like
with-
that because
with
the
this,
king is.
he clamps down this structure and makes a permanent square for his knight.
And once the knight is on e4, as you pointed out, we can already imagine a line where the knight goes to e4, threatens knight d2 check, which is going to be a very important trick in the position. Knight b7 ke baad we are going to have knight d2 check. And
Yes.
that's going to save us the game.
Oh, this is good.
So-
Actually, and another thing is, Sagar, whenever knight and rook in game is there, if the king is boxed in, all the time there is this back rank and the mating issues which are created. And you just want to get rid of all of that.
f5 actually kills many things with one stone, you know, like king f7 coming out with the king. Oh, he goes king f8. A bit cagey there.
Yeah, b4 played.
Magnus is like, okay, Prag, what do you have in mind against this very straightforward
Only move to have any chances.
Counter-attack.
Plays
He
it.
plays knight
he
a4.
attacks this pawn, knight b7. Now, if you take rook d1, and take this pawn, I believe. Oh, he takes it. It's risky
Okay,
because this is coming in. Rook d7. I'm pretty sure Magnus is ready with his move. Let's go full screen here. Magnus brings his rook to d7. A beautiful move on the 7th rank.
Wow, he's doing the knight d6 is also going to be a threat at some point. a7.
Prag nervous. Look at that.
Yeah.
He stopped bobbing. Yeah.
Yeah, but he has to go knight d5 now. He cannot touch his rook. He
Check.
touches his rook e8 and a3, the best
ये क्या
move.
move खेला मैग्नस ने यार pawn बचा लिया इधर because he realizes you can't take the rook, you will lose the c6 pawn.
It is insane that Magnus needed a comeback and he is doing it with a very, very slow endgame with the knights.
And look at Magnus playing the water bottle gambit here, getting a good position, drinking a sip of water, telling Prag, I'm comfortable here, you are in trouble.
How many times have we seen this Sagar by that Magnus Carlsen loses the first game, needs to bounce back in the second game, always does it. Right now, Praggnanandhaa is on the brink of losing his c6 pawn, and if that pawn falls, it's all over. Knight endgames are just like pawn endgames. If you're down material, no way to save them.
Correct.
Absolutely. And if Magnus has got this far, he has 5 minutes on the clock. Prag having only 2 minutes, such a better endgame. This is now going to go into tie breaks, I think. It is not going to be easy for Prag to defend.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, a3 played and Praggnanandhaa has 1 minute 42 seconds only. It's kind of a position where you look, but there's nothing to do. You know, what do you do? It's not that there is too many pieces to create some attack or something.
Yeah, I mean, right now, King e7 has tried by him.
You take
Magnus
on
Do
has
you take? Because as Harshit mentioned that the knight endgame is like a pawn endgame. The c6 is weak. So do you take on here?
I think he will take also because he has this amazing advantage of having his pawn on h5 and that pawn on h6 is slightly backward. I think he's gonna take, but rook d3 also gives him a big advantage.
Did he play it?
Not yet.
H5 is like, you know, such a good decision. Like in childhood, you choose a career and you're loving it for your life. Abhi tak wahan pe.
But you know, Amrita, I'm excited because we just don't get to see 2 games. We are going to get 2 more games of Magnus.
अरे रुको जरा, अभी खत्म नहीं हुआ
Yeah,
है.
there is anybody can blunder.
There is
If in
still a
time
chance
stretch.
that
वैसे तो
Prag can save this. I mean, clearly he's worse, but could be that Magnus goes wrong.
Yeah, but like it's Magnus, he's much better. It's an end game. I mean, let's not forget, even though Magnus lost the first game, he's still the greatest player of all time, Sagar bhai.
I agree with you. And right now, Magnus is taking his time. He has 4 minutes. He has good time advantage. He's just calculating if take, check, attacking the pawn. So king e7.
But then knight c8 check.
No, knight f5, bhai. Check here. Oh,
But
you
knight
got...
c8 a7 भी मार सकते हैं
No, actually, knight c8 check, king d7, and after knight is on, the knight is trapped there.
Oh.
King is coming here. Wow. So that cannot. But look at this move. Knight f5 check.
Okay.
Forcing the king back to f8 or f6 to defend.
And
And
then
now
knight
you go here
d4.
and pick up this pawn.
Great line showed Sagar bhai there, forcing the king away from the c6
Oh,
pawn
he
to
goes rook d3. And Prag, instead of coming back knight d5, goes knight a4, knight d6, exclamation move. You can't go rook d8 because of check. So, again, brilliant chess.
Magnus' endgame is like gladiator.
Amrita, look
यार,
at this.
क्या करता है
If
वो?
rook b8, knight f5 check. If you go king f6, guys, rook d6 check. King takes f5 only move. Boom. Checkmate.
The rook and knight, these are the mating patterns they create. You know, it's deadly.
Insane line shown there by Harshit Bhai. And Praggnanandhaa is in big trouble. He goes rook 8.
And this is happening. Knight f5 check. King has to go back. And now just rook d7 or rook d6. Any of these move. Yep, rook d6.
He attacks the c6 pawn, and Magnus is now well and truly on the verge of scoring a win and forcing a tie break with 5 minutes and 2 seconds increment.
No, if Magnus manages to do this, basically he is saying that, guys, I don't always need to keep complicated, positions where you need to calculate so much. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Also works.
Yes, he's doing that, but I guess Prag has a lesson from this, that let's not go into dry positions with Magnus. Keep it very, very exciting. Keep the queens on board, because Magnus is really good at this. A5.
Yeah, maybe with Magnus, even if you're able to get an equal endgame, sometimes it's better to keep the queens on the board and be slightly worse.
But
yeah.
did you see
You
in
were
the
right,
opening?
actually. Very right point.
In the opening, he went back queen c7. He didn't go queen
Yeah.
e4. Maybe with that in mind.
But
But
at
Magnus
that-
somehow forced it.
Yeah, ba5. By the way, rook a5 is not possible.
Do you think Magnus's endgame skills have created a lot of psychological pressure on everyone? That they know, endgame
Not
Magnus,
just
you have to be...
psychological, Amrita. It happens in reality.
Of course.
It's like...
Because it happens in reality, it also creates a very subconscious effect over there.
Yes. By the way, Rakshit says if Prag loses this, there will be 2 more games of Prag Magnus. The score will be 1-1. Commentators, can you please educate the viewers? Yes. Agreed, Rakshit Bhai. There will be 2 more games of 5+2. And then in case of 1-1 tie, we will go into an Armageddon where one player will have 5 minutes, the other player will have 4, and then the player with 5 minutes has to win. So basically, we can have maximally 3 more games here.
Ooh, and it's done.
Yeah,
it's
it's
getting...
It's all over. Magnus Carlsen, he has showed his class in this endgame in this round, and I think that Praggnanandhaa knows this. He knows that he tried his best, but it was not enough.
Yeah,
Not
I
enough.
agree.
But hats off to Magnus Carlsen for making a comeback here and showing must win on demand. How to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have to give credit where it's due. Magnus Carlsen came back like a warrior there. He did.
Oh, by the way, guys, look at the winning move. Oh, he was 96, but there was a very cute win with rook check, takes, knight check, take this, and then queen the pawn.
But I wouldn't recommend for anyone to make this move. Just simple chess and knight d6, knight b5.
I love this because when you are trying to distract this rook, the pawn will come forward and then the rook will chop it off. You won't lose this pawn.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Exactly. And guys, I would always recommend कि जब भी winning position रहता है, don't complicate things. Try to play as simple as possible.
Correct. Absolutely. C2 played and Magnus goes A7. Very likely that Prag resigns here. He has no counterplay. And look at him there tapping the piece on the table there. He knows it's over.
And handshake.
Wow.
Great game by Magnus.
Amazing
Good fight by Prag there. And
and the arbiter immediately doing the draw of lots.
Let's
The next game mein who will have the white and who will have the black?
I think that Prag is gonna have the black pieces. That's my prediction.
Yeah. These photographers sometimes do